everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been way too long, but I'm so happy to have you guys here. Today's video is 4 signs that your relationship is in trouble. So I'm currently reading this book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and I have read several of his books. I've read Outliers, I've read David and Goliath, and I also have Tipping Point, which I have not started yet. But first off, I just want to recommend his books. I think they're awesome. They're really insightful and thought-provoking. This book in particular is all about how we make decisions, kind of subconsciously. We think that we have a lot of freedom and free will and that choices are dictated by us and what we're actually deciding. But a lot of our decisions are actually subconscious and we don't even realize what is influencing us. Now, I don't want to get too off topic, but in this book, he talks about this guy who has something called a love lab, and different married couples have come to this lab, and he is able to predict with a 95% probability whether a marriage will succeed or whether it will fail within the next 15 years, okay? And how he does this is by basically just letting the couple, sit in this room, and he's recording them, and he'll tell them to have a dialogue about their relationship, about their marriage. He doesn't even interview them or question them. He kind of just lets them be, and then he looks at them through the camera footage and analyzes what sort of behavior they're showing. So he has found that 4 key things are detrimental to a relationship, to a marriage, and these 4 things in particular can determine whether or not your relationship will survive. So in this video, I was inspired by the book Blink. I will be sharing with you guys the 4 things, the 4 signs that your marriage or relationship is in trouble. Make sure to subscribe before we get into it, and let's start with number 1. So the first thing is defensiveness. When you are in a defensive state of mind, you are not in the mentality to want to hear someone out or to want to change or to want to apologize. So defensiveness is very, very troublesome in relationships, even in friendships, because defensiveness shows that you are unwilling to change. So instead of taking accountability, instead of making a promise or telling your partner, explaining what's been going on, you are just defensive and you're pulling up your wall. You're saying, it's not my fault, I'm not going to take responsibility, and this is not okay. So make sure, you guys, that if you are in a partnership and you want it to succeed, then be a good listener. Relationships should make you evolve and become a better person. Instead of being forced to change, we should all want to change, right? And become better versions of ourselves. So the second thing that shows that your relationship is in trouble is stonewalling. If you think about the word, it basically defines it in and of itself. Stonewalling. What does that sound like? Well, it sounds like you have a stone wall up. So this is similar to defensiveness, but it's actually a step further, because stonewalling is when you are not even willing to have a conversation. So stonewalling is when you literally put a wall up in front of, or in between, I should say, you and your partner, and you prevent a conversation from even taking place. So this is a sign of a lack of maturity, definitely, but it's also a sign that your relationship is in trouble, because relationships center around communication and being able to voice our fears and our feelings and our emotions with honesty. And if we feel that our partner just has a wall up and they're going to ignore us or avoid us or just get out of any sort of serious conversation, then obviously that relationship is not going to have long-term success. So stonewalling is a situation when a partner will refuse to have a conversation. They will keep avoiding it, they'll make excuses, they will keep postponing a conversation. I know personally when I was younger, man, I was definitely guilty of stonewalling. I had this really bad habit of being passive, of not wanting to have confrontations, especially when it was an uncomfortable situation. And I really did have to do a lot of healing around this topic to come to the conclusion that life is all about those uncomfortable conversations, and being able to navigate through those will make us stronger, will make us more resilient, will make us more fulfilled, and it'll bring us closer in our relationships and our friendships. So it's really important that instead of playing the passive card, getting quiet, avoiding a confrontation or a conversation, just let it happen. Because the worst thing that can happen is you guys have a disagreement, or maybe you need to go to therapy, but at least you will get down to what needs to happen in order for a positive change to take place. Number 3 is criticism. Criticism is especially hurtful when it comes from someone we love, when it comes from a partner, someone who we have admiration and respect and honor for. So criticism is truly hurtful because it can go one of two ways. Your partner can come to you and say, hey honey, I know that you've been having a lot of things on your plate and I know you're stressed out, but I really want us to spend more quality time together, and I feel like we haven't really been prioritizing us. We should spend more quality time together. So that is a really healthy way of telling someone what's been going on instead of blaming them, instead of criticizing them. Now, the flip side of the coin would be you flat out telling your partner, here you go again, you're acting selfish, you only care about your job, you never put us first. You start criticizing them as if it's a part of their character. Now, instead of saying, hey, there's this problem, let's fix it, you're basically saying the problem is unsolvable. You are this way. You have a character flaw. You have something in your behavior that I don't agree with, that I don't align with. So this is especially hurtful because obviously we all want to be loved. We all want our partners to think that we're the most amazing person on the planet. And you definitely don't want to hear your partner telling you that, hey, this part of your behavior is not serving me. But criticism can be done in a positive way, in a productive way, in a proactive way. And that's if instead of blaming your partner or acting as if it's this unsolvable part of their inherent behavior that cannot be changed, you can see it as something to work through together. So far, these 3 things that we've discussed, defensiveness, stonewalling, and criticism, are going to put your relationship in a tough, tricky situation, because if you continue to do these things, well, guess what? Now you and your partner have become enemies. You're no longer team members. Now you guys are looking at each other with the blame finger, and you are not willing to work through things together and to actually get to, a place where you're both happy and you're both fulfilled and you're both satisfied with the dynamic. So the 4th one is actually the worst, and even Gottman himself in the book says that once your relationship has reached this phase, it is very unlikely that there will be a reversal. It is very unlikely that the relationship will succeed, and it's because this 4th thing deals with respect. And as you guys know, respect is the foundation of every healthy friendship relationship out there. If there is no respect, then there's nothing. There's no trust, there's no loyalty, there's no friendship. There really isn't anything. You really have to have respect for someone and understand that they're a human, they have flaws, they're not going to be perfect every day, and you need to love them nonetheless, right? So this 4th thing is contempt. And contempt is looking down on your partner, okay? So this involves a whole umbrella of things. Acting condescendingly towards them. This can be flat out calling them curse words, which Gottman mentions in his book as well. not his book, I'm sorry, it's Gladwell's book, but Gottman is mentioned in there, and he says that in some of these recordings, the couples were straight out calling each other curse words in the room, and he said that that was a really bad sign of the relationship, because, you know, it's okay to joke with your partner, but to flat out call them a B word is really, really, really harmful, and it's really hard to take it back or to return to a healthy place after that. So in addition to that, contempt can also mean belittling your partner, dehumanizing your partner. I mean, emotional abuse, all these things. Obviously, physical abuse would be a form of contempt, because contempt is any time that we feel that we are better than someone else, or that we have superiority over someone else. And that is definitely not a place to be in or to act like if you are in a relationship. If you are in a relationship, let's just be truthful, you need to put your ego aside. No relationship is going to flourish if your ego is always going to want to be right, is always going to be the person who's in control, who's on top. No, relationships are all about putting the ego aside, allowing your partner to shine, and figuring out how you can serve them and how you guys can keep improving your dynamic so you can have a long-lasting partnership. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye!